and people see things now, you know. Now, well, I'll just go down here and get, at least I'll get a job at McDonald's, you know. Not then.
Yeah, hardship now is not being able to go out to eat
Yeah, I know.
4 times a week.
But, you know, it's just, it's like you said, it's, you just, until you live through it, you don't realize what you have to do.
It was really a very tough time, you know.
So your whole childhood was tough, not just the depression.
Right, no, that's what I tried to say earlier. Daddy always told me, you know, say again, he always told me the depression started, and he used to say 10 years, I don't remember what he said, but 10 years or 8 years.
Oh, yeah, I did.
He'd say, it started before then. There were people coming down the road, you know.
It was on the go a long time before.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's just like this thing we're into right now. This thing has been going on for how many years?
Oh, 10 years, and it could get to be like the old depression. You know, if people really start to run out of money, and I'm talking about really start to run out of money, when you absolutely can't get any money, you're going to see the same general kind of thing return.
That's one thing different. It's vastly different.
Yes.
I think in those days people still had a lot of honor,
Yes.
and now I think they would kill you for a nickel.
Yes.
Or maybe for less than that, maybe for the clothes you have on your
Oh,
body.
I think if it happened again, I think there would be mass insurrection in the cities. I think people would just fight, you know.
I don't know. It's very, very scary. It's, you know, I don't know. I'm not scared for myself, but naturally, but I think about Jack and Anna.
That's who I say all the time. I said, I'm not worried about Mark, Mike, and my brother and sister. You know, if the worst happens, you know, we live most of our lives. Almost all of my But the grandkids, they're either now just starting out or just getting into the area where they...
But do you think our parents had the same fears?
Well, I know they did, but that's who you worry about if things, because, you know, I know what it could be like. I can remember, I'm not as much in depth as you is, but, you know, I go on lots of what Daddy told me
I listened to the story.
and the remnants of what he, what I remember.
Yeah.
And I can remember, you know, it was just, it's almost indescribable in trying to sit down and list all the things that were different.
It changed your generation forever. My mother, I am the child of a depression person, and I know it.
Well,
I don't, you know, to throw anything away.
I am
You know, mother never threw a button away. She never threw a piece of aluminum foil away. She never threw anything away.
You know, I can remember one time when Mother only had one needle, and I mean to tell you that was guarded with, oh, Lord, until she could, you know, afford to sell enough eggs to get another needle. That's exactly what she did.
Yeah. Eggs, and I remember...
And butter.
But you had money to
Eggs
buy
and
it.
butter, and I remember something about sometimes selling sausage.
Yeah, they did, and chickens.
I don't remember the
And
chicken
Mother raised
but I can remember people talking about, well, I took three casings or what, you know, they didn't say those. I took 3 casings of sausage up and I
and then she raised turkeys, and she had those that we had.
Yeah.
I've heard Miss Hayes talk about Mike's mother, who's 92, talk about when she would go to school, her mother would give her 1 egg. And she would take that egg to the little store near where Springfield High School was. Remember those little stores? She would take that 1 egg to that store to get something for lunch.
Yeah. It was, I tell you, it never goes away from me, ever.
Yeah, I believe that. I know that. Well, we gotta go home. But you need...
That was Grandma Lanham, and she was midwife, and she would go around, you know, when the babies were due, and practice like the doctor did. Are you talking about the one where she stopped the doctor?
Yeah.
And one night she went out, and she had this stick that you call a cudgel that she took with her when she went. And one night she went to these people that were considered poor white trash. What are you doing?
Taping you.
She heard this horse and buggy coming, and she went out to see who it was, see if she could get some help, and it was a doctor. And he wasn't going. She stopped him. She caught the horse and stopped the buggy. And she told him, you know, about this lady, and he wasn't going in because she was poor white trash, and he wouldn't be paid. So she threatened him with this cudgel that she had, and he finally got out and went in. But that's just the way she was, you know. She tackled anybody, me most of the time. She couldn't stand me.
She couldn't stand you, what?
Oh no, because by the time I came along, she had fallen and broken her hip.
This is Nano, right?
Oh no,
Oh.
this is Daddy's mother.
Oh.
And they didn't know what to do with the broken hip at that time, so she walked with her knee in a chair. And you know, that must have been terribly, terribly painful. And to have a kid around, you know. But I don't remember her ever saying a kind word to me. It was always, "Put that! Get out of there! Don't do that!" I'm a little bit worse. And you know, Pete was really, she just loved her. But then, see, Pete was 15 years older than I was, so.
Yeah.
And she couldn't stand Grandpa Lanham, and I loved Grandpa Lanham because he was always nice to me.
What was he like?
He was very quiet, but he always had, you know, he always talked to me and paid attention to me. That was the thing that I'm sure. And I don't know where we had gone someplace. And when we came home, he was sitting on the front porch. And, you know, come from up around Thompsonville down to where Sam T. Smith lived, or beyond that. That was quite a trip, you know. So, and he had come down there because somehow or other he learned that there was going to be a fox hunt that night, and he wanted to hear the dogs bang. And that's the last time we saw him, that he was, you know, he died shortly after.
No, that was Richard Pye, right?
Pardon?
That was Richard Pye?
Yeah, it was Richard Pye.
And that's the earliest grandparent that you remember?
Yeah, on that side. Well, that's on the other side, the Lawson, let's see. I don't remember, I can't remember what his name was, but he died. Wait a minute, let me see if I can get my story straight. Yeah, I wasn't born when he died. So I don't remember, you know, I didn't remember anything about him. I guess I can tell you about the Canary. You heard that one about the Polly?
No.
Well, it's right after, no, let's see. After the Civil War was over, they had slaves, and they all left, but the house slaves, they stayed. Well, when the ones that left couldn't find any food or anything, I guess you've heard it, they started trying to come back, and the slaves that stayed there ran them off. They wouldn't let them stay. But the one that I started to tell you was they had this parrot, and when they had lunch ready, they'd send this parrot out to tell the people to come in, you know, to eat. And the parrot came back one day and said, "Those damn birds pulled my tail out." You know, they taught him to say things like that, and so he was just telling what happened. The tail was gone. He used to tell that and laugh and laugh and laugh.
So which
was the family member that, I don't know what the disease was that was going around, but she knew she was gonna die. She was dying, she put her skirt, the baby's skirt, under the foot post of the bed.
Oh, that's, that was one of the Lennons, and her husband, let's see, he went into, there was cholera going around, and he went into town and he, caught it from somebody, you know, and he did die, and she, lived miles and miles from any neighbor. So she tied the baby to the foot of the bed, so she could go get help, you know, to bury him. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, I didn't know how the story went, but
But I'm not exactly sure who that was. I just know that it was one of the Lanham faction, that's all.
and Stephen was asking me the other day if we're Irish.
Yes.
What was the story that you told me once about being Irish in our family?
Oh, well, the story goes that, Honor, what's her name? Can't remember what her name is right now. But anyway, she was supposed to have been kidnapped from, Ireland, and, she married a Longson. That's where,
Honora? Was it
Honora, but what was the last name? Well, anyhow, that was the story on
You
that.
think that was true?
Well, it's written up in genealogy, so.
No. No. She was kidnapped from
She was
Ireland
kidnapped from Ireland.
and brought over here as a bride, for that reason, for a bride.
Oh.
Did people do that? I wonder, did they do that for money, or did they?
Because there were more men than women.
Yeah. That's how you have an Irish grandmother.
And then, the Grays came from Ireland. The original Grays came from Ireland.
Really? Did you know the Grays were Irish, John Scott? I didn't know that.
Was Carol Irish? John Carroll?
Who?
That's the other side of the family.
Oh, Carrie's still one of your relatives.
John Carroll's not my family.
Huh?
He's not in our family.
That was our mother's side. The Carroll was our mother's side.
Well, he's in our family, that's all I'm saying, you know,
Yeah.
was he Irish?
I don't know if Carroll was Irish or not.
It sounds Irish, I just wondered, it doesn't make any difference, I just wondered.
Well, we gotta get, drop and continue talking.
I don't know stories. I don't know.